सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Swami Sivananda ji, who was Gurudev's sannyas diksha guru, has written, used to write many songs. One such song was, actually it was a poem only. It was a poem. Start the day with God, end the day with God, fill the day with God, this is the way to God. Just repeat. Start the day, fill the day with God, this is the way to God. So I just made it into a song so that it's easy to sing. I'll just teach you the song, then we'll sing it together. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Start the day with God, end the day with God, fill the day with God, this is the way to God. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. La 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 la, together. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Start the day with God, end the day with God, fill the day with God, this is the way to God, this is the way to God, this is the way to God. So now everybody knows the way to God. So if I ask the children what is the way to God, they'll say this is the way to God. So Sivananda ji has put it in a very simple form. Start the day with God, end the day with God, fill the day with God, this is the way to God. So now we'll start today's topic. As you all know, Gurudev has said something very nice. He says, what you have is God's gift to you. What you do with what you have is your gift to God. So actually that one sentence is more than enough to guide us in our life. That one sentence is enough if we put it into practice. If we have that attitude, life will become really beautiful. So what is God's gift to us? Gurudev used to use the term BMI, isn't it? What is BMI? Body, mind, intellect. So God's gift to us is BMI, and how we use the BMI is our gift to God. So Gurudev used to say, as the Shastra says, in Kathopanishad you have studied, that there are always two paths in front of us, two choices. Every moment of life is a choice between the path of Shreyas and Preyas. So we can use the BMI either in a way which makes us progress in the path of Shreyas, or we can go in the path of Preyas also. The BMI can be used as we like. Man has got the choice, whereas animals don't have choice. So to have this viveka between Shreyas and Preyas, Shreyo Marga and Preyo Marga, is the hallmark of a human being. So Gurudev used to say, use the BMI as a ladder to go beyond the BMI. It's a very nice way of putting it. Use the BMI as a ladder to go beyond the BMI. Now you have seen the BMI chart, all of you. What is beyond BMI? Om. Of course, V is there in between, that is the problem. Beyond that is Om. So to reach Om, we have to use the BMI in a proper way. And they always used to say, Om is our real home. Om is our real home. Om, home. So Hari Om means Hari home. So all that you are quite familiar with. Now, so we'll come to the first formula. Today's three formulas. First formula is, first there is a statement for the formula. First there is a statement for the formula. What is the statement? If your life is in a mess, remove this mess with another mess. If your life is in a mess, remove this mess with another mess. So you are wondering what is this? So if your life is in a mess, remove this mess with another mess. So the formula is, or equation, here it's equation. Mess plus mess is equal to no mess. Mess plus mess is equal to no mess. I'm sure you know without my telling all this. First mess is what we usually make of our life. Many of us, before we come to Shastra, before we come to Guru, if we don't have proper guidance, then life becomes a mess. Mess means confusion, disorder, tension, all sorts of sorrow, anxiety, worries, all that comes under mess. Health problems, physical health problems, mental health problems, then of course relationship problems, very important, relationship problems, all sorts of problems that disturb us physically, mentally, and of course intellectual problems. So some people don't have physical or mental problems, they have intellectual problems. Intellectual issues, that is a big issue for them, intellectual issues. Like scientists are worried about some scientific problem, and these intellectuals who discuss about various philosophies or some such issues, they are always worried about such issues. So they forget about food and sleep and worry about those things. So all these issues come under mess, M-E-S-S. So it may be at the spiritual level also a lot of confusion, what to do, what not to do. So many issues. Of course, physical and mental issues are more. Physical issues because of lack of discipline, and mental issues because of emotional problems. That's normal. Intellectual issues some people have, spiritual problems some people have. So anyway, mess stands for all sorts of problems. The first mess. The second mess, that's the most important thing now. MESS. M stands for meditation for the mind. M stands for meditation for the mind. E stands for, can you guess? Exercise for the body. Exercise for the body. Then S stands for study for the intellect. Study for the intellect. And the last S stands for seva. Seva covers all the three, body, mind and intellect. So our personality is BMI. So one has to use each one in such a way that ultimately we can go beyond the BMI. That is meaning absolute peace and ananda. That is going beyond the BMI. So meditation for the mind, exercise for the body, study for the intellect and seva for all the three. So each one is very important in spiritual life. First we will take up meditation. Now I am not going to go into detail because all of you know what is meditation and everything. Just briefly I will make a few points. Meditation, general definition is sajātīya, vṛtti, pravāha. Pravāha means flow. Vṛtti means thoughts. Sajātīya, thoughts related to the same object. Similar thoughts. So continuous flow of similar thoughts is called meditation. For example, if you are meditating on Krishna, a continuous flow of thoughts about Krishna alone, that is called meditation. Practice of meditation. So sajātīya, vṛtti, pravāha is meditation. That's the general definition. So the mind should be given this practice called meditation. And you know Gurudev's statement, mind at play is Maya. What is Maya? Mind at play is Maya. So the mind has to be managed very well. Gurudev also used to say that mind management is nothing but thought management. And thought management consists of three aspects: quality of thoughts, quantity of thoughts and direction of the thoughts. So I used to say japa is a very effective technique for doing all the three simultaneously. So by japa, chanting the name of our Ishtadevata, quantity of thoughts is reduced, quality of thoughts is transformed, direction of thoughts is also changed. So meditation can include japa also. Japa, meditation on the Ishtadevata. Basically, it is advised that you should meditate on your Ishtadeva. That is the easiest meditation. Easiest, of course, not if you don't have an Ishtadevata, if you don't have love for the Ishtadevata, then the mind doesn't stay in the Ishtadevata. So meditation includes all that. So one should have an Ishtadevata first of all, and one should have extreme love for the Ishtadevata. Then meditation on Ishtadevata becomes easy. So the mind becomes easily concentrated. Or it can be in the form of japa, of course. Of course, japa is best accompanied by meditation on the form of the Lord. And another type of meditation is passage meditation. Passage meditation means you take a passage, either it may be a shloka or a few sentences, and contemplate on the meaning of that shloka or the paragraph. Then that's also very useful. If you know a few statements of Gurudev or anybody, then you take those statements, contemplate on the meaning of the statement while rotating the words in your mind. Then that becomes passage meditation. Or any nirguna meditation if you can do, that's even better. Like Nirvana Shatkam or any other such Shatkam, some other Shatkam, Nididhyasana shlokas, asangoham, asangoham punah punaha satchidananda rupoham ahamevaham avyaya. And that meditation, if it is done for a specific problem, if you have relationship problem, you should do asangoham meditation, because many problems are due to relationship. Then you have to meditate on asangoham, I am free from all relationships. If you have physical problems, then meditate on I am not the body. If you have mental problems, meditate on I am not the mind. Such shlokas you have to select. Then we can easily free ourselves from all problems at the physical level, mental level, and relationship problems, all such problems. Fear of death, name mrityu shanka, today morning is. So all these meditations will help us to calm the mind. Basically, it's very important to calm the mind. Calming the mind, as Gurudev says, quieter the mind, brighter the mind, brighter the, sharper the intellect. The mind is disturbed, the intellect cannot function. So it's very important to calm the mind, and meditation is very essential for calming the mind. So the whole meditation can be summed up in this one definition: sajātīya, vṛtti, pravāha. A continuous flow of thoughts related to one object. And the easiest meditation is Ishtadevata Dhyana. One should have an Ishtadevata. That's very essential in sadhana. One Ishta mantra and one Ishtadevata will help a lot. If you see the lives of all the Mahatmas, they all had one Ishtadevata. Like Meera had Krishna, Surdas had Krishna, Tulsidas had Sri Rama, and even Mahatma Gandhi held on to Ram Nam. So Ram Nam was the very breath of his life. Like that, our Guruji favorite Ishtadevata is Sri Ram. So everybody has an Ishtadevata, then it helps to focus the mind, to calm the mind. That is meditation. Now E is exercise, but here we are not limiting to exercise, disciplines at the physical level. Disciplines at the physical level. Now those disciplines have been given in chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. 4 disciplines have been given. Yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. So 4 disciplines at the physical level, which includes exercise, of course. So exercise indicates 4 disciplines at the physical level. Yukta ahara, proper food, proper eating. Yukta vihara, proper relaxation. Yukta cheshta karmasu, right amount of activity. Don't be overactive, don't be underactive. And yukta swapnavabodha, right sleep. Sleep, of course, quantity, quality, all that one has to take care of. So that implies so many other disciplines also. If you have to sleep properly, one has to be very disciplined throughout the day also. Otherwise, sleep will not be proper. And just before going to bed, what we think, what we read, all that influences sleep. So E stands for all that, all the aspects, 4 aspects, exercise. Then S is the most important, study. So Gurudev used to say, study groups are the heart of the mission. Study groups are the heart of the mission. Like, unless we study and are convinced about something, we will not go forward in that path. So intellect is the driver of the chariot. As you know, Kathopanishad, the human personality is compared to a chariot in which intellect is the driver of the chariot. Buddhim to sarathim viddhi. Buddhi is the sarathi. So intellect has to understand, intellect has to be convinced of the higher truths of life. So for that, study is very much required. So what do we study? Of course, what we study in school, college, university, that's different. That is for vyavahar, it's part of life. But this study of the scriptures, very important. Gita, Upanishads and Prakarana Granthas and other books written by Gurudev or by other masters, they are very important. Gurudev has given a study scheme, and that study scheme, I think, begins with Manual of Self-Unfoldment or Kindle Life, one of the two. So then goes on to different chapters of Gita, then different aspects of the Upanishads, goes on. So many texts are covered in that study scheme. So one has to study. Why this is emphasized? Because many people think in spiritual life study is not important. One has to just do japa or seva or bhajan. Study is neglected actually by many people. But study is very important. So one has to know the shlokas also, not just study. One has to remember certain mantras and shlokas. One should be ready to bring out the shloka anytime, whenever required. Meaning they are in the mind, they are available for us. That knowledge is available anytime. So one has to make it a practice to remember mantras and shlokas, important ones, not the whole thing, but important, like Brahmarpanam. Of course, Brahmarpanam everybody knows because one has to chant it before food. But otherwise, so many mantras are there which we don't remember. We say meaning is enough, but we forget the meaning also, really speaking. So, better to remember the mantras and the shlokas, important ones I am saying. So, that will help a lot. Study. So, one has to study properly, then the intellect is transformed. And once the intellect is transformed, transformation takes place at other levels also. If we are sincere, it all depends on sincerity. If we are sincere, if there is a change at the level of the intellect, change will happen at the level of the mind, sense organs, our daily life, dress, everything is changed. But the first change has to take place at the level of the intellect. So, one has to be very focused on study. That's very important. In Chinmaya mission, that is given a lot of importance, study. And the fourth one is, yes, stands for seva. Seva is also very important because for two reasons basically. One is it removes selfishness. By nature, man is selfish. So, seva removes selfishness. And by nature, we are lazy also. So, seva removes laziness also. So, it removes laziness, it removes selfishness. And of course, seva is nothing but karma yoga, which is required for purification of the mind. So, karma yoga is the very beginning of sadhana. Karma yoga takes us forward in the path of sadhana. You have to begin with karma yoga only. So, whole Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna, right from 2nd chapter up to 18th chapter, he again and again talks about karma yoga. So, from that's why Lokmanya Tilak said, karma yoga is the message of the Gita. In his Gita Rahasya, Bhashya on Bhagavad Gita, he emphasized karma yoga only. Though of course, Jnana yoga is the primary message is said by Shankaracharya, but karma yoga is also a very important teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, which we should not neglect. So, MESS plus MESS, mess plus mess is equal to no mess. No mess means there will be no problems, meaning all the contradictions in our life, all the confusions, all the stress will go away. There will be more and more harmony in life. Less and less of disharmony, more and more of harmony. That is the message of mess plus mess is equal to no mess. Of course, you can go into much more detail. Now, we have to go to other mantras, other formulas also. So, second formula we will go to, that is, we will start with, see, many people do sadhana, no doubt, but as Bhagavad Gita says in the 7th chapter, Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschit mam veti tattvataha. So, of course, everybody doesn't come to sadhana, very few come to the path of sadhana. Even among them, very few ultimately reach the goal. Why is it? Because there are so many blocks on the way. There are so many obstacles on the way. Of course, the obstacles are all inner obstacles, not really the outer obstacles. We say Outer obstacles are many. Actually, all the obstacles are inside only. So nothing outside can disturb us if we are strong inside. So the inner obstacles have to be removed. So this formula gives us the path to success in spite of outer obstacles and inner obstacles. So this formula, the statement is, open the door to success with open. Open the door to success with open. So you all know the spelling of open. O-P-E-N. Now we will start with the last letter. Each letter of the word stands for something. N. Can you guess what N stands for? Huh? Nishtha. Negative. Negating. Anybody else? Just guess. Huh? Nididhyasan. Okay. Yes. N. N stands for two words. One is no. One is no. And the other is now. N-O-W. No and now. So both are very important words in sadhana. And this is not just for spiritual sadhana, it can apply to any achievement. Anybody in any field can remember these principles and put it into practice in their lives. So N stands for no, N-O, and N-O-W. So Gurudev used to say about saying no, N-O. Learn to say no with a smile. Learn to say no with a smile. See, sometimes people don't say no. See what happens when we don't say no at the right time. Lot of time is wasted, lot of energy is wasted, and we are not able to achieve what we want to achieve. We are not able to do what we want to do. I am sure you all agree with this. You all experienced it in your life. Because you didn't say no, you must have had many problems. Is it? Can you give an example? If you want to. Yeah, her neighbor was an old lady who used to come and chat with her. Because she wanted to pass time, she is feeling bored. So she used to come and chat with her. Means 5-10 minutes it's okay, but it doesn't stop with 5-10 minutes, you know that. So it goes on. So a lot of time is wasted. And she doesn't want to say no because she feels she will hurt her feelings. So if one can say no, that's why it said, learn to say no with a smile, in a nice way. So, anudvegakaram vakyam satyam. So, anudvegakaram, learn to say no in a non-disturbing way. That's why it's very important. Speech, 4 rules of speech are given in 17th chapter. Learn to say no without disturbing the other person. There are many ways. So, one has to be very intelligent in talking also. So, and another thing is, what is the opposite of the word no? Yes. So it is said, your no will be firm if your yes is clear. Many times we say no, then it becomes yes. And the other person puts a little pressure on us, we will say yes. First we say no, then it becomes yes. Why does no become yes? Because our priorities are not clear. Lack of clarity about the goal. So it is said, your no will be firm when your yes, Y-E-S, is clear. Very important. The word no is very important in spiritual life. In vyavahar also, of course, any vyavahar. Your no will be firm when your yes is clear. So Mata Amritanandamayi gives an example for this. Of course, just simple example. A man's child was not well, high fever or something. So he was carrying the child, nearby some hospital was there. So he had put the child on his shoulder and was walking fast to take him to hospital. On the way he met a friend whom he had not seen for a long time. So the friend started talking. Oh, how are you? I have not seen you for a long time. He wanted to talk. But this man just said a few words and went away fast. How was he able to say no to the friend? Because his priority was very clear, that the child has to be immediately admitted to hospital. That priority was very clear. So he could say no to the friend. He must have said in a nice way, of course, I'll meet you later or something. But he said no. So because his priority was very clear, his yes was very clear. So your no will be firm when your yes is clear. So two statements. Say to no with a smile, and your no will be firm when your yes is clear. Now, about saying no, there are two aspects. One is saying no to others externally. External disturbances, external distractions, temptations, one has to say no. But what about the internal disturbances? Many times nobody is disturbing you, your own mind is disturbing you, giving you all sorts of suggestions. Do this, do that, go there, go here, eat this, eat that, all that. In many aspects it gives suggestions. So one has to learn to say no, not only to somebody outside, but to our own mind. So two aspects. The second aspect is very subtle. Many times the mind takes us for a ride. We are not aware that the mind is cheating us. So the mind takes us for a ride when we are not alert. And then we go far away. So one example is given of that. As boy, say let's say a 10-year-old boy, let's say. It was a Sunday, there was no school. So he was sitting in front of his house after lunch. Nearby there was a dobi shop, there was a donkey there. Donkey also had finished its lunch, it had come for a walk. So it came for a walk right in front of this fellow's house. Now this boy, mischievous boy, the moment he saw the donkey, he jumped on the donkey, sat on it. So donkey got very agitated and went here, there, and finally threw him in a gutter and went away. So the boy got all injured, dirty, and came back crying to the mother. So mother said, why did you jump on the horse, jump on the donkey first of all? You could have just looked at the donkey, it would have gone away. Who asked you to jump on the donkey? But that is what we do. Here the donkey represents some thought in the mind. So thought comes, just look at the thought, let it come and go. But we jump on the donkey, meaning we identify with the thought, and thought takes us for a long ride. And that long ride may be several janmas also. Not only this janma, it may be several janmas. So when a thought rises, we have the choice to either look at the thought and ignore it, or we can use that thought, identify with that thought and go with that thought. So the choice is there. So one can say no to the thought, or one can say yes to the thought. But if when we are not alert, that thought will come. Without being alert, you identify with the thought, then that thought will take you for a long... Thought leads to action and all that you know. So a long ride. So whenever a thought which is opposed to your path, which is opposed to your goal arises, any goal it may be, one has to just ignore that thought. Thought will come. All sorts of thoughts will certainly come, because we have already have all sorts of memories, samskaras are there. They will come, but ignore it. Let it come. Just look at the thought and ignore it. It will go away, but we don't allow it to go away. We ride on the thought. So, no. Saying no is very important. Internally as well as But for saying no, one has to be very alert. That's why Gurudev used to say, alert and vigilant living is sadhana. Alert about our own thoughts. Basically, it's alertness about our own thoughts. Don't allow thoughts to take you for a ride, basically. So, no. Now is also important. As you know, Tamo Guna has 4 aspects. What are they? Laziness, alasya, nidra, pramada and dhirga sutrata. Tamo Guna manifests in 4 ways. Laziness, you know that. Nidra, sleep. And then pramada, carelessness, lack of alertness. And dhirga sutrata. Dhirga sutrata means procrastination, meaning postponing work. Postponing work. I can do something right away, but I don't do it. What is the reason? Tamoguna. No other reason. I say I'll do it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next week, next month. Like that we go on postponing sadhana. Due to there is tamoguna, it may be some vasana may prevent us from doing the sadhana. So many reasons are there. Many times we postpone sadhana because of vasanas or due to laziness. So now means do it right away, as soon as possible. Right away means as soon as possible. Don't postpone. Swami Anubhavanandaji used to say, don't postpone your happiness. But that's what everybody does. That's a very important statement. Maya is that which makes you postpone your happiness. Just look at your own life, or generally, and say, that's what everybody does throughout life. Postponing happiness, is it not? You don't agree? You don't agree? All of us postpone happiness. So he used to say, don't postpone your happiness. What makes you postpone happiness? That is Maya. So, now means, one, of course, don't postpone any work to be done. And also you can put it this way, don't postpone your happiness. Be happy now. If you are not happy now, you will never be happy in your life. If you are not happy now, this moment, you will never be happy in your life. If your happiness is going to depend on external situations, that can never be, even that happiness will come and go, that's all. So, now, very important. Then, next is OPEN. E stands for energy management. E stands for energy management. See, for success we need lot of energy. To achieve anything, we need lot of energy. Physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, meaning intellectual energy. So much energy we need. Without energy, we cannot achieve anything. But as Gurudev used to say, our energy leaks out via 3 channels, 3 leakages of our energy. Those who have studied Manual of Self-Unfoldment know this. What are the 3 leakages? Anybody can say? 3 leakages of energy? Worry. Then? Thoughts, of course, but how? Anger. Okay, I'll tell it. So, he used to put it very, very clearly, He was always very systematic. Systematically, we have to look at it this way. 3 leakages of energy. One is regrets about the past. Regrets about the past. As we grow older, regrets also increase. Have you ever seen a 10-year-old child regretting the past? 10-year-old children regret the past? Will they even think about the past? 15 years? Little bit. Not much really. 15 also will leave. 20 it starts. At the age of 20, brooding on the past begins. 40 it has increased. 60 nothing but past only. They think about the past, they talk about the past only. That somebody said, the way to find out that a person is growing old is that he is most of the time talking about the past. So if you are talking more and more about your past, that means you are growing old. You can make out. Others can make out at least. The more we talk about the past, that means you are growing old. So regrets of the past, especially regrets. So dwelling on the past unnecessarily. Even dwelling on past success is also a waste of time and energy only. Unnecessary dwelling on past success is also a waste of time and energy. So regrets of the past take away a lot of energy. As we grow older, then anxiety or worries about the future. That also, but that is very illogical actually. Worrying about the future, it's very illogical. Because what is the future? Future is nothing but past plus present is equal to future. General equation. Past plus present is equal to future. Anything else can happen? Nothing. Past plus present is equal to future. Past is not in our hands. So the only thing that is in our hands is present. So why just take care of the present? Future will be good only. It said future is nothing but the past modified by the present. So one take care of the present. Why bother about the past? So dwelling on the past is a waste of time and energy. So regrets of the past, then worries about the future. That's also very illogical. Gurudev used to say that brooding on the past is like walking around with a dead body on your shoulders. First thing, dead body is heavy. Second, it has a very bad stink. So if you are all the time brooding on the past, you will be stinking. Meaning nobody will like to come near you. Anybody likes to go near a stinking person? No. So unnecessarily talking about the past, brooding over the past, it will make you stink. Personality will start stinking. Nobody will like to go near that person. So, and third leakage of energy is excitements of the present. Excitements of the present. Excitement of the present means no proper planning. That's why Gurudev used to say, plan out your work, work out your plan. So all his statements are very, very good guidelines for our daily life. Even if you don't study Shastra, we can manage. If we have studied Gurudev's teachings, that's enough. You spoke only what is in there in Shastra only. So, plan out your work, work out your plan, then there's no excitement in the present. Excitement means, what in Kannada we say, gadibidi. So much confusion, tension, lack of clarity of what to do, what not to do, when to do, who should do what, all confusion, lack of planning. So the work will come out in a very inferior way. Work will be very inferior. So E stands for energy management. Leakage of energy is through three channels. What are they? Regrets of the past, anxiety about the future, excitements of the present. Okay, now we will come to P. P stands for positive emotions. Of course, you can say positive thoughts also, but basically we can put it as positive emotions. See, Gurudev used to say, mind can make a hell out of heaven and heaven out of hell. How is it possible? Mind can make a hell out of heaven and heaven out of hell. How does it happen? By negative thoughts, negative emotions especially. If you have negative emotions in the mind, wherever you are, that is hell only. You are experiencing hell. And you may be in hell, but if you have positive emotions in the mind, you are in heaven only. It's not the external thing that matters. What is the quality of your mind? Mind can make a hell out of heaven and heaven out of hell. So, very important to practice positive emotions. Negative emotions you know very well. One negative emotion is hatred. Hatred. Another negative emotion is fear. Isn't it? Fear. Another is depression. It's common. Very common. Depression. Depression, such a big problem that people have to take tablets for that. They go to a psychiatrist and take tablets for years together. Not a few days. Years together they take tablets for depression. Just imagine how weak the mind is. Depression is all, it's nothing but your reaction to some karma phala. What is depression? It's a reaction to karma phala. Years together people take tablets, then go to psychiatrists. So psychiatrists can make a good living. They make a lot of money out of the weaknesses of human beings, isn't it? So mental weaknesses. So depression, fear, anger, hatred, all that is, life becomes hell only. Life becomes hell. Opposite of emotions are compassion, fearlessness, love, all those negative, all the positive emotions that are mentioned in the Gita, divine qualities, Daivi Sampat, all the positive emotions. The more we cultivate the positive emotions, and it becomes a habit also slowly. Of course, it's not become mechanical thing, but slowly that becomes a habit. Reaction becomes a habit, response also becomes a habit. Whatever we do regularly, that becomes a habit. So reacting becomes a habit. Gurudev Tejomananji says, don't become bitter, become better. Don't become bitter, become better. So bitterness is very common when you see people talking. They are so bitter about, the older we grow, the more bitter we become. Because somebody has cheated them, or they didn't get what they want in life. So they are very upset about somebody. They are bitter with God also. Most people are very angry with God, because God did not give them what they want and gave somebody else what they wanted. That is also there. So that becomes even worse. If I didn't get something, it's okay. Somebody else got what I wanted, that's even worse. So you observe, as we grow grow older physically, mind becomes more and more bitter. So the personality becomes so bitter, there is no sweetness at all. There is no sweetness in that person. Initially at the age of 20, he or she was very sweet. By 30, a little bitter. By 40, very, very bitter. 50, totally bitter only. At 20, that person was such a sweet person. Slowly the bitterness increases, the sweetness goes away. So one has to retain the sweetness of the personality by being aware of these things. Otherwise the bitterness just grows and one becomes cynical also. You know what is cynicism? Cynicism means a negative outlook towards the world. Nothing will happen. If somebody starts something, he will say, it's all waste of time. Then if somebody does something to serve the world or some improvement, he says, it's all like world is like a dog's curly tail, nothing is going to happen. That's where somehow he talks like that all the time. So cynical attitude towards life. Nothing is of any use anyway. World is like this only. People cannot be changed, like that. Of course, if we understand at a deeper level properly, that's okay. But in a superficial way, when the people talk, cynicism is a very big disease. It prevents us from doing anything good. Bitterness destroys the sweetness of the personality. So always remember what Guruji has said, don't become bitter, become better. One has to learn from experiences, but don't keep on brooding over something and becoming angry with people, angry with God, angry with everybody. So that anger grows anger is also a negative emotion. You see, look at your own mind. As we grow, so much of anger builds up in us. Anger. That anger is Swami Sivananda says, anger is the enemy of mental peace. Anger will take away mental peace. There cannot be peace where there is anger. So, one has to be especially careful with respect to anger also. Otherwise, getting angry is so natural. So natural. Doesn't mean that we should not respond to situations. One can respond without getting disturbed and angry also. So, response is required. Reactions will make the mind impure and very hard to live also. Then, positive emotions. Okay, now O. O stands for observation, self-observation. Out of all the four, this is the subtlest sadhana. Observation. Observation means one should be aware of one's thoughts, one's mind, how it is functioning, what is happening in the mind. Generally, people live totally identified with the mind, isn't it? Identified with the body and identified with the mind. So it is said, discover a space between yourself and your thoughts. This is subtle sadhana. Usually mind is managed by the method of substitution, like japa, meditation on Ishtadevata, reading some book. That is the way of managing the mind by the method of substitution. But this is subtler method which everybody cannot do. Substitution everybody can do, though many don't do, but they can do. But this is subtler sadhana. Discover a space between yourself and your thoughts. And as Gurudev says, Gurudev once came to Bangalore and he was talking on 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And he was talking on the 12th verse of the 7th chapter. 12th verse says, Echaiva sattvika bhavaha rajasastāmasāschaye matte eva chatan viddhi aham na tesho te mayi. So in that sloka Sri Krishna says, everything has proceeded from me alone. Everything is born from me. They are in me, I am not in them. He said this statement, they are aham na tesho te mayi. They are in me, I am not in them. He said, this is a maha mantra. I was in the audience. I attended the whole yajna. 7 days. That was last yajna in Bangalore. That is his last yajna. That is in the year 93. I think March 93. That is the last yajna in Bangalore. Very last. That was a touching scene at the end also. So, he made the whole audience repeat this statement 3 times. Because he said, by the time you go home, it will have become something else. I am in them, something and all, it will change. So, they are in me, I am not in them. This is the Maha Mantra, especially when negative thoughts come. It applies to all thoughts, but especially when negative thoughts come, repeat this. They are in me, I am not in them. He made the audience repeat this 3 times so that they remember. So whenever negative thoughts rise in the mind, or any unwanted thought rises, fear, jealousy, anything, say, they are in me, I am not in them. It applies to all thoughts. Aham vṛtti, any aham vṛtti rises, self-descriptive thought rises. They are in me, I am no good, I am good, I am bad, I am great. All the negative, positive self. It applies to positive self-descriptive thoughts also. But the positive self-descriptive thought doesn't cause any immediate problem. It causes problems later. But immediate problem is caused by negative self-descriptive thought. So, they are in me, I am not in them. That is called observation. So, look at thoughts as an object. Say, they are in me, I am not in them. Then we will not get carried away by thoughts. Otherwise, what happens? You know what is hijacking? Hijacking, you know what is hijacking? What is that? Plane has to go from Bangalore to Bombay. So one fellow will stand behind the pilot and make the plane go to Hyderabad. That is called hijacking. So many times we want to do something, we end up doing something else. That is called hijacking. Who is hijacking us? Our own thoughts. So a thought rises and we get hijacked by the thought and end up doing something else. We go in some other direction. So don't get hijacked by thoughts. Observe the thoughts as they rise. Ignore them if you want to ignore them, or if you want to use the thought, you can use the thought. But that freedom should be there. That's why it said, discover a space between yourself and your thoughts. In that space there is freedom. In that space there is freedom. So that is O, observation, self-observation. And if you can't do this self-observation thing, then the next best is substitution. Like Gandhiji, when he was a small child, he was afraid of ghosts in the dark. He used to get afraid in the dark. So his ayah told him, whenever you are afraid, chant Ram Nam. So that continued at the end of his life. That upadesha of that ayah, it helped him until the end of his life. He used to chant Ram Nam. That is called method of substitution. So this is subtler, watching thoughts. So O-P-E-N. So what is the Vakya? Open, I didn't tell you the statement. Open the door to success with open. Okay. Next we will go to the third, what do you call, acronym. It's called acronym actually. The word is acronym. One small word which contains lot of meaning. Each word, each letter has a special meaning. So the statement is, now you know what does spirituality say? Just now we saw, mind at play is Maya. So all spiritual practices are a therapy for the mind. Mind means intellect, everything included. All spiritual practices are a therapy for the mind. Therapy means treatment. All spiritual practices are nothing but, whether it is japa or study or seva, anything, it is a therapy, treatment for the mind only. Mind means intellect, everything, antahkarana. So, as the Amrita Bindu Upanishad says, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. For bondage and freedom, mind is the cause. So that mind which is full of vishayasakti, attachment to objects, is the cause of bondage. The mind which is free from vishayasakti becomes the cause for freedom. The Amrita Bindu Upanishad explains it very clearly. Bandhaya vishayasaktam muktam nirvishayam smritam. So with that in mind, just make a note of this statement. Put the mind through the put process. Put the mind through the put process. PUT. Put the mind through the put process. Now you can guess what is P, what is U, what is T. What is P? Huh? P stands for? Huh? Prayer. Of course, prayer is good, no doubt. P stands for purification of the mind. P stands for purification of the mind. Now U, put the mind through the put process. P stands for purification of the mind. U, upasana correct, but unification of the mind. Unification of the mind. Then T stands for correct, transcending the mind. So P for purification of the mind, U for unification of the mind, T for transcending the mind. So the whole spiritual sadhana in just 3 letters you got. P, U. Somebody asks you what is sadhana? Say put. Over. Somebody asks you to give a talk. Just say put and walk away. Just say put and walk away. Talk over. What is put? P, not the Malayali put. Okay. Malayalam, in Kerala there is a item called put. That's also very good. P-U-T. Very tasty, healthy food, morning breakfast. That's also called put only. You should eat that also. But this is very important. Purification of the mind, unification of the mind, transcendence of the mind. So, I did not explain all that, little bit I will just touch upon. You all know that. P stands for purification. So, as the Hanuman Chalisa, there is a line in the beginning. Nijam Anumukuru Sudhari. What is that? Sri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nijam Anumukura Sudhari. So, how do you purify the mind? By serving the Guru. By serving the lotus feet of the Guru, I purify the mind. So, Guru can stand for anything. Serving the Guru doesn't mean that physically you have to be with the Guru all the time. Wherever we do any, because Guru is not limited to the physical body. If he is limited to the physical body, he is not a Guru. So, he is pervading everything. He is everywhere. So, any service done everywhere is service to the Guru only. With that attitude when we do, it is service to the Guru. Some people think all the time we have to be with the Guru. Of course, initially that is important, but not always. Wherever we do any service, it is service to the Guru. So, seva, purification is through seva. Purification of the mind. Purification means what? As the Upanishad says, bandhaya vishaya saktam muktam nirvishayam smritam. So, vishaya sakti is the impurity. Vishaya sakti, very technical term used in the Upanishads and in Bhagavad Gita also. Vishaya sakti. Vishaya means it may mean a person, it may mean an object, it may mean a place, anything, situation, Vishaya. That which binds us is called Vishaya. So, one Swamiji says it, converting Vishaya into Padartha is spiritual sadhana. See, there is this object, this is what is this mobile. So, mobile can be just a Padartha for me. Padartha means just a Vastu to be used. Or it can be a Vishaya, meaning it can disturb the mind. So, converting Vishaya into Padartha is spiritual progress. An object is an object. Why are you disturbed? So, Swami Anubhavanandaji once said, the objects of the world enter your mind in the form of likes and dislikes. Objects of the mind enter. See, object is object, no problem at all. But when the object enters the mind, then the problem begins and settles down in the mind. Even if it enters the mind, it's not a problem. When it settles down in the mind in the form of likes and dislikes, then the problem, then it becomes a Vishaya, a binding thing. That which binds is called Vishaya. So, object by itself is not an issue. Only when you give reality to that object, it becomes a source of happiness or sorrow. Then you develop ragadvesh, then it enters your mind, then it becomes a Vishaya and binds us. So, even Narada Bhakti Sutra says, Vishayatyagat Sangatyagat. In the Bhakti Sadhana, it says Vishayatyaga and Sangatyaga. Give up your attachment to Vishayas, he says, Narada. So, Vishaya Sakti is the main problem. Nirasta Vishaya Sangam Sanniruddham Manohridi Yadayati Atmano Bhavam Tada Tat Paramam Padam. One mantra he summarizes the whole sadhana. Give up Vishaya Sakti, then fix the mind in the Atman, your sadhana is over. But now where is the mind? Mind is in Vishayas. So, why is that? Because of Ragadvesh. Why is Ragadvesh? Because you are giving a reality to the object and making it a source of happiness or sorrow. So, outside objects, when you take them as real and consider them as a source of happiness or sorrow, they become Vishayas and bind you totally. So, P stands for purification, meaning remove Vishaya Sakti from the mind by various methods. There are various methods. As in Manashodhanam, Guruji says, Yajna, Dana, Tapas, Vṛtta, Japa, Tirtha. 6 sadhanas he gives for purification of the mind. Yajna, Dana, Tapas, Japa, Vṛtta, Tirtha. 6 sadhanas he lists out. Basically giving up Vishaya Sakti. That is purification of the mind. Then U stands for unification of the mind. So, pure mind is required, a focused mind is required. And focused mind is through Upasana. Purification is through Karma Yoga. Focused mind is through Vishaya, Chitta Ekagrata or Chitta Naishchalya. So one has to have a pure mind, a focused mind. From many thoughts we have to come to one thought. So one can use Ishta Devata Dhyana, Ishta Mantra Japa, all Mananatrayate iti mantraha. Manahatrayate iti mantraha. So from many thoughts come to one thought. That is focusing the mind. Unification. Then once this is done, then what happens? One is ready for self-knowledge. Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. So go to a guru and ask for self-knowledge. Listen to the Upadesh on Atma Vichar. So transcendence of the mind means one has to know that mind is only an appearance on its substratum, the pure self. Mind is an appearance, but we have taken the mind as real. So one has to understand thoughts are only an appearance on the self. Taking thoughts as real is samsara actually. What is samsara? Taking thoughts as real. But when you understand thoughts are only an appearance on the self, self alone is the reality. Like rope and snake, example. Rope is a substratum, snake is only an appearance on the snake, on the rope. When you take the snake as real, all problems. When you understand rope is the reality, no problem. So, transcending the mind means knowing that mind is only an appearance on the self. Self is the reality and I am the pure self. That is my true nature. Aham Brahma Asmi. One has to understand myself as pure consciousness, which is the substratum of all names and forms. Not just my name and form, all names and forms. That is, I am Atma Brahma. Aham Brahma Asmi. All the Mahavakyas you know. So that is transcending the mind. Once the mind is transcended, our sadhana is over. So put the mind through the put process. Now we have 3 formulas. So I have kept my promise. What is that? First one, mess plus mess is equal to no mess. Second, open the door to success with open. Third one, put the mind through the put process. Okay. Now we'll sing that song I gave you, that sheet. I also need one sheet. Okay, got it. Yeah. See, this song is written by Swami Sivananda. He has written many songs. Just now we saw one song. This is another song. Song of real sadhana. Okay. Now I'll sing the lines, you repeat after me, then we'll sing together. Otherwise we'll forget also. So better to do it once more. Do real sadhana, my dear children. Do real sadhana, my dear children. Together. Do real sadhana. Do real sadhana. To free yourself from birth and death. And enjoy the highest bliss. I shall tell you the surest way. Kindly hear me with greatest care. Do real. Acquire first sadhana chatushtaya. Then proceed to the feet of Sadguru. After having Shravana and Manana, then do practice Nididhyasana. Do real remove first the old Dehadhyasa. By repeating Shivoham Bhavana. Then remove the veil Avarana. You will rest in your own Swarupa. Do real okay. Now together. Do real to free yourself I shall tell you with greatest care. Do real acquire first sadhana. After having then do practice. Do real remove first the old by repeating. Then remove the veil Avarana. You will rest in your own Swarupa. Do real sadhana. Do real sadhana, my dear children. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.